welcome to SVG-TV News for Tuesday, 14th August 2018. I'm Investor Boynes with the details. NEMO, the Caribbean Disaster Management Agency, and the United Nations International Strategy for Disaster Reduction have completed an audit of St. Vincent and the Grenadines' comprehensive disaster management. The draft findings were presented to stakeholders today. This country was found to be partially meeting standards in mitigation, preparedness and response, as legislation on comprehensive disaster management has not yet been enacted. UNSIDR consultant River Providence shared the findings at a workshop held at NEMO today. She told SVG-TV News in an interview that communicating disaster and alerts is a cry for help.
When it comes to alerting, NEMO may not have the capability to send out, let's say, text message blasts or to interrupt certain radio stations or the television network. And so that is one area that should be focused on fairly soon, because no one ever knows when a disaster will hit. And these things are imperative to reduce not only loss and damages to livelihoods and structures, but also loss of life.
Ms. Providence said the public can download an app, the CAP app online. This gives early warnings and alerts on any disaster in communities. She also is encouraging the population to keep abreast with what's happening on the various media. Providence said while the findings showed there were some positives as well.
It's through having access to risk maps, models can be done. You can, and physical planning has already done flash flood models and landslide mapping to identify disaster-prone areas for flooding and landslides. And those can help to save people's lives. We know in recent years, people have been dying as a result of flash floods or landslides. And so that's one big positive that we can look towards having these maps.
Today's workshop drew participants from the Ministries of Health and Transport, the Police, and the Agency for Public Information. The final report will be available in a week's time. With the hurricane season entering its peak, officials at the National Emergency Management Organization NEMO said it's ready for any eventuality. Director of NEMO, Michelle Forbes, told SVG-TV News today that they are aware of setbacks, but the organization is managing well.
We are always ready. There will always be some gaps in some areas, but our systems are always up and ready and in place. Of course, we'll have some issues for communications. For example, if we are impacted by a Maria or Irma, we'll probably have similar issues in terms of communication that those islands that were impacted would face, and we recognize that. So we know what our shortcomings there is, but we also have to work with the other ham radios and the other amateur radio clubs.
Forbes said preparedness begins with every individual, who should make every effort to stay informed. She pointed out that SVG is currently experiencing hot conditions and she's not sure what could be the outcome.
It's pretty hot, which means some of the conditions might be a little bit more conducive for the formation of cyclones, storms or hurricane, and we always need to pay attention to what our Met Services are saying, our forecasters they are saying. Do not think that everything that is coming towards the Eastern Caribbean is going to be a knot. We never know when something is going to have a direct impact on us, and we always have to be prepared.
Forbes said since its establishment in 2002, NEMO has recorded improvements in recovery.
We didn't have resources like a warehouse where we had actually resources to assist the communities, things that we can respond with. We didn't have those things. We did not have the coordination mechanism when NEMO was established. But over time, we have built that capacity. Of course, there will still be some room for improvement, but these things are built over a period of time.
International entities will do what they think best serves their own interest. This was the comment made by Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves as he weighed in on the controversy surrounding the decision made by Ross University to relocate to Barbados from Dominica after 40 years. The decision has sparked debate in the two countries, with some accusing the Dominica Prime Minister of doing nothing to stop the move, while others accuse the Barbadian Prime Minister of poaching. PM Gonzalez said the two prime ministers cannot be reasonably blamed for the decision taken by Ross University.
I would say this. First of all, I don't think that anyone can reasonably blame Prime Minister Skerritt of losing Ross University. Neither can one reasonably blame Mia Motley of poaching Ross University. The matter which comes out stark to me, first of all, is that a business entity has no loyalty to any country or any community if that loyalty conflicts with what they perceive to be their immediate, medium-term, long-term interests.
PM Gonzalez said the decision by Ross University will cause some financial challenges as many businesses were created to provide services to the medical school. He said SVG faced a similar situation a few years ago and believes Dominica will bounce back.
You have so many more students with 4 colleges, including American ones. What happened? The Americans gone soft now? The point I make from the beginning is what I make now. We look for where our interests are and rationally, maturely look at our interests. And you use your judgment. We have to help Dominica in its rebuilding. And Skerritt is a strong and good leader. And I'm sure that this setback, it will create difficulties, particularly down in the Portsmouth area. But I think that they will climb out of the hole as they are climbing out of their current difficulties.
The Ministry of Education has today released the preliminary results of the May-June Caribbean Examinations Council Secondary Education Certificate Examinations (CSEC). 7 schools recorded pass rates of 80% or more, with the Girls High School leading on 97.42%, followed by the St. Joseph's Convent Kingstown on 90.82%. Outstanding students were Soraya Jackson of the GHS and Kyle Da Silva of the Mountain View Adventist Academy, who passed 16 subjects, and Delan Nair of the St. Vincent Grammar School, who was successful in the 15 subjects he sat. SVG-TV News will have a detailed report in our evening news on Wednesday. Let the children dance. That was the declaration of Maxine Brown, Dance Development Officer in the Ministry of Culture, as she appealed to parents and teachers at the launch of the 13th KCCU National Dance Festival and the Credit Union's conference room this morning. Around 14 groups from primary and secondary schools, as well as community groups from across the nation, are expected to take part within this year's festival. The preliminaries are slated to begin on September 8th. Brown said dance provides a wide range of physical, mental, and social benefits which contribute to the holistic development of individuals. She said despite these benefits, some parents and teachers consider the art a distraction to students, specifically those who are about to sit the CPEA examination. The Drama Development Officer used the example of successful dance students to illustrate her point.
Dancers who continue to dance during the CPA period tend to do much better than students who stop or cut class to go and study. Look at Emma Rouse right here, Paige Cadogan, Daniel Wright. They would have continued dancing throughout that school term, that school year in the CPA class known as grade 6. And you know the result? They came first for common entrance. Be it first for girls and of course first overall, and they must be commended. Does dancing dancing really hold you back? It does not. There's Latavia Daly, there's Rihanna James, there's Kenisha Foster. They may not have placed first for common entrance, but they were in the top 5, the top 10, the top 15. The question remains, does dancing really hold you back from learning? I say an emphatic no. It doesn't help, it helps, it doesn't hinder. It promotes learning. So parents, give your students, my students, your daughters, your sons, a chance to shine. Because in the end, dancing builds the whole child. It builds the whole child. And moreover, the multiplicity of benefits you can get from dance, it's unmatched. So let them dance.
Cultural Officer Anthony Theobalds acknowledged the sacrifices made by students who put in the necessary time and effort over the years to perfect their craft, and he commended parents for their role in nurturing and supporting their children.
People do not remember that there are parents who rearrange their schedules and get children to music lessons, to dance practice, and all of that over many years before you see the 15-year-old dancer. A dancer commits their life because in addition to the time that they spend at the dance studio, they have to get up every morning and exercise. If they don't do that, their muscles do not acquire the muscle memory to execute. The guitarist has to get up besides band practice and run his scales. Otherwise, he doesn't have the muscle memory to change key in an instant. But it is that kind of work that makes the difference between an ordinary and an extraordinary performance.
President of the Kingston Cooperative Credit Union, Cynthia Hope Brown, said the organization is delighted to be associated with a festival which can transform the lives of children.
Sponsoring the National Dance Festival since 1994, almost a quarter century. We deserve a hand for that. Thank you. Our annual average expenditure in relation to sponsorship and donation is about $300,000. KCCU takes its social responsibility very seriously, and one of our corporate commitment is to improve the quality of life in the communities we serve. It is my hope that people will come and support the festival, and the KCCU's sponsorship will continue to see the benefits of contributing to the festival in the future, and that the festival will aim to foster and promote a lifelong interest and appreciation for dance.
Cultural Officer Anthony Theobalds is calling on artists to pay attention to the business opportunities which their talents can generate. Theobalds, who was speaking at the launch of the 13th KCCU National Dance Festival, said while the art forms such as dance bring with it physical and mental benefits, building their talents around the arts can also be a good source of income.
So I wish to encourage persons to examine that other aspect of the creative and cultural industries, the development of business. As the dance festival provides showcase of talent, you have to take advantage of the opportunities to perform at hotels, to put on special programs so that when people are visiting, they can come out and see a show. There has to be work invested into the rest of the business of cultural activity. Yes, it has tremendous benefit for you physically and mentally, but it can also have benefit for you financially if the investment is made into the work of the business. I thank you for your attention.